And ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday night. It is What the Show. I am a co-host. I am AJ Lancaster. I'm joined by another co-host. How are you doing tonight, Mike Deacon?
Oh, I'm wonderful as always. AJ, it's the original What the Show crew for the start of tonight's show.
It is. Hey Siri, cue Kenny Loggins playing with the boys. We're gonna have a ball tonight.
Our awkward silence, but yeah. So AJ, we're for those of you who don't know, AJ and I started this. Well, we conceived this show probably roughly about a year ago, right around this time, and about a month from now, last year was when we actually got things going, and this was the original team right here. And obviously, things grew in a good way when Bethany and Juice jumped on, but. Yeah, this was the original show. That's kind of crazy to think about, that it's like nearly a year since we started this whatever this is.
Could you imagine if you and I tried to just carry this together?
It would have been we would not be on there anymore.
It would have been gone like 8.5 months ago.
Yeah, it would have been an absolute catastrophe. Things worked out the way they were supposed to, so that's a really good thing.
Yeah, but we have so many awesome guests who've come on. You and I, we've had some great moments through this. We have some amazing people in the chat. We have Lego in the chat already. We've got Haskell in the chat. It's good to see you guys tonight. And we've got some fun things to talk about. We've got, what's his face demanding $20% first dollar gross for his next movie again. We can get into that.
100 day theatrical release.
We've got Malignant. Which, as far as I'm concerned, is the only movie that exists anymore. And we have a guest tonight.
We got an awesome guest tonight. So those of us in our community, this is a name we've all known for a very long time. It's his first time on this show, but you might have seen him on the Off the Rails podcast. You also might know him as William Bibiani's biggest fan ever. And so let's bring him on now. The one and only Chris Clark.
Chris,
wow, I haven't been called Bibbs' number one fan in a long time. No, Bibbs is like a really good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And like back in by the way, hi guys. Back in like 2016 or whatever, when 2015 when I discovered the Schmodown on Collider, just hit the ground running, and this whole community is amazing. And even from when I was producing the Rundown to now, where I'm still close friends with a lot of the people in the production, a lot. In fact, most of the people in the production, they're like family to me. We've known each other for almost half a decade. So it's just a great community. And even though I'm not as vocal as I used to be back in the day and annoying, it's still great. It rocks. So how you guys doing?
Oh, dude. Well, I wanted to tell you something, Chris. Like, I waited until we were on air for this to see your reaction. So back at Chicago Star Wars Celebration, you were sitting in the very front row, all the way to the left of the stage.
Yeah.
With Frank and Skaliski. My wife and I were sitting behind you, and someone we did not know sat right next to us at the time, and that was Nikki DiMalata. So all of us.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. Like small, a year, was it 2 years later, look at all of us, pulled them together. But at the time.
Yeah, like back then, like Dwayne, I didn't know who Dwayne was. Max didn't know who Dwayne was. TJ didn't know who Dwayne was. Dwayne was just a new person. And now Dwayne is one of our closest friends. The whole Schmodown brings a lot of good people together in many different ways. And even if you're not there specifically to see the Schmodown, you're there to be with everybody, and it's a great experience. So those live events, even from pretty much day one, like you were saying, Chicago, but also the first live events in LA to the first live events in New York, they're just so much magic atmosphere.
Yeah, I've been to several of them, and there is the key word to all of those events is always community, because everybody winds up hanging out together. You meet people that, whether it be people who are part of the show or people from just the fan community, you'd never think you'd meet from different parts of the world, even sometimes. And it's pretty wild.
Oh, it really is. Yeah.
Well, and I was I mean, I was a Schmoedown fan since about 2017, and I only became a fan of the community. Like, I only became a part of the community digitally during COVID.
The pandemic? Okay, oh, that's fine. Because that's where arguably the show has grown the most is due to the digital age. Because back when it was just in person, there weren't as many people overseas that could like be a part of the show. And now you have Jacob London. You have people from it's just like people who wouldn't be able to be in the show regularly are now a part of it, and it's grown the community tremendously.
Yeah. Well, and I'd even heard that like they'd had conversations with Griffey Nooms, but it was like, well, the logistics of him being in LA, in New York, and not going to LA a lot, it was just like, well, if I want to do it, I want to do it. And then this came along, and he could do it. Like things like that.
Kevin Smith would never have been able to have done the show because of his schedule unless it was digital. So there's that.
But speaking of community, I did want to mention streamlabs.com/whattheshow. Now we give every single dollar to a cause that is not ourselves on this show. This month we are going to be celebrating one of the most dedicated members of the Schmoedown community who had problems with flooding in New York a little while ago. We're going to take all of our Streamlabs totals and send them off to him at the end of the month. And that's Eddie Haskell 420 in the chat.
Ed is amazing. Yeah.
We're celebrating you tonight, and we're celebrating you Wednesday nights for the rest of the month, Ed. So reminder, guys, any donations to the show never go to us. Usually to charity. And Ed, you and I, we need talk more about that GoFundMe thing. I think that's on me. Yeah, Ed's the dude. So wanted to throw out that quick shout out there.
Ed, anybody in the community probably is familiar with Ed if you go to a live event. What's good about Ed is that my distinctive memories of Ed is that he, especially since New York is his like stomping ground, after like I think it was the first or second New York event, he set up this entire like restaurant for people to go to after. Do you remember that, Mike? Were you there for that? Okay, yeah. He set up the restaurant, like a 3 or 4 star restaurant, and just rented the whole place out, and everybody's bill was covered. And yeah, he's just a generous dude. So anything to help him, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Yeah, and so much going on in the chat, by the way. But I did want to mention, Chris, right before we brought you on screen, Justin broke me, and I managed to keep my shit together because he said this right before we brought you on.
Just finish. Oh my God, Justin.
Yeah,
Justin. Oh,
Juice
is a character. Cannot wait to see what he does with that keytar.
Oh yeah,
the keytar showed up to my wedding.
Yeah.
And this is like I've said this on the show before, but anybody who wants to make sure, like if you're having any kind of celebration, like for us it was my wedding reception, but if you need a party starter, somebody to get that dance floor kicking, it is Justin the Juice.
Oh,
he will get the entire place moving by himself. And at our wedding, Footloose came on, and he literally was the first person on the dance floor. And all of a sudden, like within seconds, everybody surrounded him. It was just gravitated towards Juice. It was one of the funnier moments of the wedding. One of the more fantastic moments of the wedding. We'll never forget that.
It's great.
Justin just added himself to the wrong stream here.
It's great. It's amazing.
So where are you, Justin? I'd like to know what stream you're on.
No, Justin, don't even come on the show. Drop the link for wherever you're on right now. We're going to do a live watch along.
That'd be great. I do remember that pick, Tim. Tom. Ed.
So speaking of the live events, we do have the big one coming up in December in Los Angeles, but let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the night after, because Mr. Chris Clark here has coordinated, curated, and put together an incredible concert, and That's why we brought him on tonight, so we can kind of get the rundown on everything going on with that show. So, like, tell us about what made you decide to put the concert on and how you picked each artist.
All right. So, if you guys don't know, have you been living under a rock? Spectacular is December 4th, 2021 in LA at the Globe. I decided, and I actually talked to Mark Ellis, and he gave me some encouragement to try to rent out a place he actually did for stand-up last year, digitally, I think, from the Mint. The Mint is in Los Angeles. It's a great performance space. I was able to rent it out for a good price, and basically I approached everybody I felt like would be what I would consider to be the Schmoedown Music Mafia.
I like that.
Yeah, because you have Alex Marzonia, you have David B. Music, who's scored every single thing in the Schmoedown, on top of having his own band, The Fate Stay. So he has an hour plus that he's going to do. Ben Bateman, of course, you guys know Ben. The show is actually going to be his final show of his winter tour, which he's actually doing right now. If you follow him on Instagram and stuff, his shows have been hugely successful. I can't wait to and actually, as of a month ago, because me and Brianne Chandler got in contact, Brianne and me talked, and we're like, yeah, I think her doing a 15-minute show, that she said she had a 10-minute set, and I said, no, I'm going to give you 15 because I feel like giving that extra 5 minutes of leeway lets her breathe and lets her give the performance that she would want. She wanted 10 minutes. I gave her 15. So you know what? That was me being
handing out time.
Yeah.
Brianne's self-taught, right? She self-taught herself guitar, in the past.
Self-taught it. Yeah. And I don't know what her show is going to be. She just says that it's going to be a hoot and that she hopes everybody is drunk in time before it happens, which is amazing. I can't wait for that. And to the cream of the crop is the fact that it's all emceed by the movie guys, Adam and Paul Preston. And the last our show is 90 minutes. My band is called Wonderful Crazy Night, which is a celebration of the music of Billy Joel, Elton John, and Meat Loaf. There are a lot of more surprises in our show, aside from that massive amount of sets and music that you're already getting. So for $50, you're pretty much getting 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11. You're getting like 5 hours of epic music back to back to back to back. I think it's worth it, and it is going to be streamed. We're going to have a stream link for you guys to purchase the digital ticket, which will probably be like $10 or something to watch the stream. So, if you can't make it, don't think you're going to miss out. So it's going to be fun.
So,
oh, hey, Justin.
I think Justin's still having some technical difficulties while he's figuring that out. I do have a question for you. So it's a celebration of Elton John, Billy Joel, and Meat Loaf.
Yes.
So that Billy Joel.
Yeah. Do you not like
really
Billy?
Question.
Go for
I think
it.
it's full of shit.
I get you. You know why? I get the Billy Joel critiques. Is it because he borrows a lot from other artists?
No. It's because I've been to a lot of open mics with a lot of alcoholics, and I've never once smelled a microphone that smelled like a beer.
Oh, okay. Well, that's true too.
Yeah,
we're going to be doing Piano Man. Yeah,
you are. Or not?
Those of you who don't know, I'm from Long Island. That's like my personal hero. So
yeah.
Oh, we got Jangle Juice.
And Bethany and I, our first dance was actually Just the Way You Are. So yeah, so
it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you play it,
hey, Justin.
Justin, you're here. How you doing tonight, man?
Y'all hear me? All right. Fantastic. Sorry. Had some issues as usual.
No, you're good.
You mentioned a few of the acts that week. Did you mention that there's going to be a What the Show cast member on the lineup?
I'm getting yes. Actually, the special, as I said, there are at least our portion of the show, we have guests that I know, and I'm going to be able to announce. One of them I did, and it was Justin himself. Justin is going to be playing guitar. And not on top of that, but he's going to be playing guitar along with Sean Sullivan, who's going to be playing bass. It's on a really groovy track called "Burning Down." Yeah, it's going to be. What the fuck? What the fuck was that?
Show?
What the show was that? You okay?
Hang on. Mute me for just a second.
You're good. You're good. Yeah, it's going to be Justin and Sean.
We went up 2 viewers while that happened. That's a new What the Show first.
Wow.
Technical difficulties, and we drive up the viewership.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, you're good, bud. You're good. And Justin's on a surprise thing at the end that we're going to be doing too, which is we have our whole finale figured out, which actually
Thanks to love.
Yeah, we're going to actually run it for the first time at Soundcheck, so that's going to be great. But
I can't wait. I can't wait.
If you are curious how you fit 3 artists into 90 minutes, it's simple. You don't necessarily, if you're making a show like an actual set list, you don't necessarily focus on the big hit songs. You got to note that I still am tinkering with the set list. You might not get Rocket Man. You might not get Big Shot. You might not get We Didn't Start the Fire. But you're going to get hits and stuff, but you're also going to get songs that you might not know. And if you don't know a song, it's not that it's going to be bad. It's that it's going to be an educational experience. It's going to be, I like that song. I've never heard it before. I want to listen to that on Spotify. And that's what I want to focus on. Yes, we could do Just the Way You Are, but what if we do a deep cut and you're like, I like that song even better. Yeah, of course we're going to do some of the songs that you're going to expect us to do, like Your Song and Piano Man and Paradise by the Dashboard Light, which there's a great surprise that I'm not going to spoil till the night of the show. But hint, hint, wink, wink. But it's just making a show like that is so much fun because you have 90 minutes to play and you can change it every single night. So, and if you don't hear a song that you really wanted to hear, I only had 90 minutes. So just see another song, another night we might play it then.
Exactly.
It's just fun. It's just for the fun. And also, nobody that night is going to be there to hear a hit Billy Joel song. People are going to be there to see everybody perform and have fun. So we could really perform whatever we want.
Yeah, dude.
But one thing, I see Billy Joel. He comes to Florida. He goes between Orlando and Tampa every year. We go every year. Billy Joel is one of my favorite artists to see live because he does what he calls fielder's choices.
Yep.
So he will stop and he'll say, okay, I'm going to give you 2 choices. I can play this song or this song. It's never hits. It's always like lesser known ones. And then so you get to hear some wild stuff from him. And that's part of why I like seeing him every year, because you hear different stuff.
You never know what you're going to hear for the first time. And what I love what Billy does, especially over even Elton, is that each night his set list is different. Mm-hmm. Elton has his... I love Elton to death, but live you're going to see the same show every single night.
Yep.
But with Billy, he has it rigged to where, yes, he has the same encore of songs. Yes, he's going to do Piano Man, but that first 40 to 50 minutes of show is completely on him, and you never know what you're going to get. So it's just, and making set lists is awesome and it's fun. And if the biggest disappointment to somebody is we didn't do a certain song, I did my job. Because if that's the only thing you're disappointed about, we rocked it. Yeah. So you can't, if you can't please everybody, please the people in the band and play what you want to play.
So I got a real funny story talking about Billy Joel and Elton John and how different they are live. I've seen them face to face. I was at Nationals Park. It was in 2013, I believe it was.
Uh-huh.
No, it was 2009. It was 2009. And they're playing the way they used to, if anybody's ever seen those shows, they start together, like the piano's face to face. Then they do one of them does a set, the other does a set, and they come back and finish the show together. So they get to the third song of the set, and Elton's sustain pedal on his piano sticks. And he literally throws the biggest diva fit I've ever seen on stage.
He does that to play it up too, yeah.
Billy Joel plays it off, and he starts playing. He's messing around playing Root Beer Rag and Yankee Dandy and stuff, and the techs are all out there flipping out. So then Billy Joel's like, you know what? I'm gonna fix it. He gets up, takes his jacket off, throws it to the ground, and then dives headfirst under the piano, and he starts messing with himself. And it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen at a concert. That particular show, Elton was supposed to go first, then Billy, and Billy then gets out of it. He literally says, "Fuck it, get my band out," and his band is not ready to play, and they all come scurrying onto the stage and play probably 15, 20 minutes longer than they were supposed to because they had to kill the time that was missed. But
no, that sounds amazing.
That's one of the most memorable shows I've been to.
Yeah, that stuff actually happens. And you know what? You can be like, oh, crap, they messed up. The bad live. No, that's magic. Like, that is magic. And I think Elton played it up. And, you know, like, the bitch is back. He is a bitch. And the bitch is back. Yeah.
So profusely when he came back out to do his set.
What year was that?
Every time.
What year was that? 2009?
2009, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I want to see if I can find a recording of that. That's awesome. Yeah.
So
those face to face tours are incredible because
expensive. Awesome.
They're super expensive. But what's great about them is that every night is different too because it's Billy in control of this set list and Ellen having to go through a Billy. And actually, if you look, that's why they don't tour anymore. Because Billy said the reason why him and Elton don't tour anymore is because Elton was fed up with Billy always changing the set list, and it's just that's the sole reason. Look it up, but yeah, it's crazy how much important a set list is to somebody.
So what's funny with that too, like the two of them they are very good friends, and
they are, yeah.
Elton gave Billy his blessing because if you see Billy live, he always has a video wall behind him. Sometimes it's broken up, he always has a video wall. And We Didn't Start the Fire, he puts every picture up of every lyric. And when someone's got a new queen, he puts Elton John up on the screen.
Yeah. Also, that song is it's a fun song, but if you mess up one word,
it's done.
The song live collapses. And as much as I love We Didn't Start the Fire, doing it live is a complete asinine risk if you don't have what Billy has, which is multi-million-dollar projectors with the at the end of his stages he has what are those things with the scrolling text called
prompters,
and they're huge multi-million-dollar prompters at the side of his stage so he doesn't mess up a single line. But go for it.
Tampa 2020 was in the end of February and he opened with We Didn't Start the Fire, which I've never seen him do ever before. And Bethany, my wife, has literally blamed him for starting the pandemic because he started the show. We didn't start the fire.
It's rare that he does start with fire because was that the show where he did Uptown Girl for the first time in forever? That might have.
So no, he did that at one of the Madison Square Garden shows, which I've been to several. But he did that at one of those. He's had Uptown Girl in the set for most of the shows we've been to since about 2011. I want to say. This was 2020. But the 2020 show. Going back, I was saying the Madison Square Garden show. I was at one of those garden shows, and Brian Johnson from AC/DC showed up, and they played
did Highway to Hell. I know you shook me all night long. Yeah, I remember seeing a video of that.
Brody Chainsaw. They did that.
Yeah.
I've seen.
He does. He has Chainsaw come out to do Highway to Hell when he needs a break. So that's occasional. That's if it's like a show that he wants a break on.
The outdoor shows he does that usually.
Yeah.
When he needs a breather.
Yeah, and I will say that him singing Miami 2017 in New York when he goes back to New York finally is going to hit a little bit harder than it did previously due to the lyrics. Of course, that song doesn't translate outside of New York City,
right?
But that just shutting down New York and the lights going out is just so powerful.
And he actually played, if you didn't know, on December 31st, 2016, he played in Miami, and the first song of 2017 he played was Miami 2017.
Yep, and then he ended that with Souvenir.
Yep.
I remember that. Yeah.
It's a rare one.
A rare one, yeah. And the other one that he doesn't do, and I on PJCN, formerly PJCN, it's now Off the Rails Network.
Right.
We did our favorite holiday songs, right? The night I decided that actually the concert that we're doing on December 5th, I called the Night of 2,000 Years, because because that song of 2,000 Years really kind of dignifies the optimism and hope that even after this pandemic and all that we've been through, that song just is magical. And he doesn't do that anymore he wrote that in 93. He thought that the new millennium was going to be great, and then 2001 happened.
Right.
Yeah. So but I still feel that song is one of his greatest achievements, and it's just Billy's music is magical. It's great.
You and I could talk Billy Joel.
Yeah. so mad. Yeah.
Do it. I dare you.
So sorry, guys. We took it over.
This has been going for a very long time.
I've known very little about Billy Joel. I was captivated.
Same.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, he is. His story, like there. If you've ever seen it, there's a documentary. It's called The Last Play at Shea. It's about the last concert they ever played at Shea Stadium. It also incorporates the New York Mets. So it was like literally like, was this made for me?
Oh, nice.
And that concert,
That is one of the greatest concerts. You can find the concert itself like on Apple Music or Spotify or CD or whatever. He has so many special guests on that show. It is insane.
And that show is incredible for two things. One is that you might be blown away by that release, but that release is only like 70% of the concert.
It's not even close to it.
Yeah, because because in the documentary they show clips of songs like "Moving Out" and "Entertainer" and stuff that aren't in the video itself. It is because they wanted to focus on the celebration of that marvelous Shea Stadium, which was actually a piece of crap. But it was a terrible place, but it was our terrible place.
Right. So that's the CD that has the entire show on it, and that's the documentary with the
it's crazy.
You need both.
Yeah. And he sounds amazing. So it's great.
And the whole thing is like everybody knows Shea Stadium was most famous because of the Beatles performance there, and he had Paul McCartney come out and play.
Who actually flew, like he almost missed it because his flight was delayed.
The story of McCartney.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
The documentary.
Yeah, which I think he was there the first night and he came back the second night. He got there the first night, did Let It Be, came back the second night and did Saw Her Standing There. Yeah. So it's great. We just geeked out for like 20 minutes. It was
AJ, I think you and I need to prepare a music trivia schmodown.
You know what?
We should Mike and Chris.
We should do a Billy Joel trivia schmodown. Do it.
We could do a Billy Joel match, like not schmodown format. We could do like 20 questions Billy Joel sometime.
There's no losers in that. We're just talking about Billy Joel all night. There's we all win.
Crazy.
We need like somebody that actually knows what they're talking about to help write the questions though. Because like we could write like what we think is the hardest questions that are like 1 point, like 5 pointers to us, 1 pointers for you. But no, my introduction to Billy Joel was a Billy Joel song technically, but not by Billy Joel. It was Weird Al's parody of Spider-Man.
Oh.
Piano Man Spider-Man.
Yeah, Weird Al's great. Yeah. Weird Al in general is one of my favorite artists. He does a lot. There's a lot more to him than just parody. Are you big on Weird Al, Justin? Yeah.
I'm not like huge, but the ones I know, I know. All right, for audio listeners, we're now transitioning from Billy Joel to Weird Al.
I actually had never seen Weird Al until 3 years ago. And I took Bethany to see him on he was with the orchestra tour. That was phenomenal,
Yeah, and what's great about the orchestra tour is that he was able to put in songs into his set that he couldn't
never did
do
before.
Like don't download this song. Stop forwarding that crap to me. A lot of great big productions.
Harvey the Wonder Hamster as well.
And he also did a self-indulgent like storytellers tour before that, where he just did all his deep cuts for the fans, and it was super successful. And I think all of them are like on some sort of platform that you can listen to. Yeah, it's just Weird Al is a marvelous human being, and there's more to him than like his Michael Jackson parodies, which are great, like Fat and Eat it.
Amish Paradise.
Yeah, I actually don't listen to that stuff as much as his original stuff. But yeah, it's just Weird Al's amazing too. We went down that train.
I had White and Nerdy memorized for a while.
Yeah, and there's
I get it for karaoke.
And there's that great thing with Donny Osmond just dancing and lip syncing to that. Have you seen that where he just memorized the entire thing? It was great. Yes.
Oh, that's
there was like a week where I went to my cousin's and he had an iPod and I didn't have an iPod, but he just got the iPod. So the only 2 songs on the iPod was Weird Al's White and Nerdy and My Chemical Romance's Welcome to the Black Parade. And I I kept like sneaking in and like stealing the iPod. He'd be like, "Stop listening to my iPod." And I'm like, I just want to keep re-listening to these 2 songs. I just go back and forth for just hours. So enamored with like the invention of the iPod.
But why was there only 2 songs on it? That's hilarious.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I assume he's got a couple more by now.
Yeah, hopefully by now. But yeah.
Still like manually syncing an iPod Classic like Gen 1.
I love those iPod videos.
Nightmares.
Yeah. With that big white thing that went into
the click wheel.
Nostalgia. Yeah. But nothing was better than that MP3 interface of the old iTunes software where you can like customize all the artwork and stuff. That's all gone.
Oh,
yeah.
Unless you have the old firmware for it.
And Apple does everything in their power to make sure you don't. So.
Yeah.
But that's pretty crazy. So my question for you, Chris, like, obviously, I have my origin story because I'm from Long Island. So that's kind of where my Billy Joel love came and all of these artists we're talking about. But, obviously these artists that you're covering are much older than you are. So like what actually drew you to them?
Mike, how old are you? Are you 30?
I'm 38.
Oh, 30. Okay, I'm 30. Yeah, I'm 30. It comes from that. Like my dad was huge on classic rock.
Yeah.
He loved every time we get picked up from school, we would put in the tapes of Bad Out of Hell, The Stranger, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. There's also like we haven't talked about Elton too much, but Elton has a lot of great albums from the early 2000s, late 1990s that are phenomenal. You have songs from the West Coast. You have The Captain and the Kid. You have The Union with Leon Russell in 2010. It's just a lot of great storytelling, and that's what I like about a lot of that music is that, especially with Billy and Meat, you have the story songs. You have Paradise. You have Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. You have Piano Man, which is basically an entire story about a bar, and every character has their own arc. It's even with your song, it tells the story of a friend who's just saying, you know what, you mean a lot to me in a platonic way. And I mean a lot to you, and this song is for you. I wrote this for you. It's Bernie basically speaking to Elton. It's a great song about friendship, and it could be intrude as a song about love as well. There's a lot of great storytelling in these songs that make you feel like they're like mini 3, 4, in Paradise's case, 9-minute movies.
Right.
They're it feels like an audio drama. As any Meatloaf song is an audio drama. There's no Meatloaf song that's not an audio drama. But with Billy, you have the popcorn pop like Uptown Girl. But you also have something like Ballad of Billy the Kid, which tells the story of Billy the Kid in a very fictitious way. And it ends with him saying, Boy from Long Island, which references him. Yep. You have Captain Jack, who is a drug dealer in Philly. Yeah. But there's so much more to this music. Like, people think of Elton John, they think of Tiny Dancer and Crocodile Rock, but then you dive deeper into Elton and you get the last song, which is a song about a boy who's dying from AIDS and trying to speak to his dad and making amends with his dad before he passes on to the next plane. One of my favorite songs of all time. There's just so much layers, or Have Mercy on the Criminal. Funeral for a Friend is basically it feels like a Jim Steinman song. There's a bunch. It's just, if you're asking me why I am attached to this music or why I'm into it or why I got introduced to it, just because I like storytelling, and I just like escaping realism and just seeing fantasy. And Bon Jovi's like that too. I love Bon Jovi. I like Paul Williams. I like. Yeah, there's a lot more artists than that I like, but performing those three songs, I think those three mesh, and that's how I got really accustomed to that music. And it's not just them; it's just that style of music. Eagles, Fleetwood Mac, list goes on. So you just gotta, you can't stick to one thing. So it's good.
So I actually went to the quote unquote closing show of Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, and it was Billy Joel, and he brought Paul Simon out and played 3 songs with him, and just listening to the two of them going back and forth telling stories in between songs was worth the price of admission alone.
Yeah, VH1 used to do this thing called Vh1 Storytellers, where they would have a artist like
that.
Yeah, they don't do it anymore because VH1 is now a bunch of reality television. So, but back when it was all music, it was. But there was the show where they would have like this.
Storytellers was great.
And actually, Billy, Meat, and Elton had episodes of those. Yep. But it's not just that. It's like once you know the meaning behind a song and you can hear the artist's interpretation of that song, and you're able to put their vision on top of it, it strengthens that song as you listen to it, because you can bring in your own vision of that song, but know what they actually meant, and it just adds a lot more flavor to listening. And I want Storytellers actually or something like that to come back. And I talking about music and then hearing people's like. Nowadays, you get an MP3 of a song and that's it. You don't have liner notes. You don't have any of that stuff anymore. So you don't really know the context. You don't even get the instrumentalists. You don't get the credits of who's on bass and stuff. So you just get a lyric sheet that you can get on azlyrics.com. You don't see any of the like booklet like inspirations of songs anymore, which I miss. So knowing what artists really mean by their songs is like just as good as hearing the song itself.
Just in Walmart the other day, I saw like there was Billie Eilish's new. That's kind of my guilty pleasure music. I'll admit, it's Billie Eilish. Her new like album is in like CD and like record form. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like there's CDs here. I was like, but. I was like, let me look for like her older CD. I'm like, oh, this is new releases. It's not going to be here, because there's like 6 records in like one area. Yeah. And so I'm like, all right, where's the actual CD section? I'm like, oh, that doesn't exist. There's no more CD section at Walmart.
There isn't. It shrunk shorter and shorter and shorter.
Like,
There was a point where you could go into Walmart and like half the store was. There was the CD section, there was the VHS section, then you had the DVD section, then you had the game section.
Right.
And you could just go down that line and just look through stuff. That and back in the day, back in like the early 2000s, you're like, oh, this movie is not on DVD and you only have it on VHS. This movie is a rarity. Nowadays, if it's just on DVD and not Blu-ray, it's a rarity. But we ignore the fact that there are some films that are on VHS that have never gotten released on Blu-ray, not even DVD or HD DVD.
Right.
Yeah. And when you lose all that stuff, you're relying too much on the digital stuff. Yeah. What if things collapse digitally? You'll never have. There'll be poof. But it's just I just miss the physical like getting a VHS and going to Blockbuster or something. It's just that's lost.
Man, I need to I used to be super keen on like I'm not gonna listen to like I know it's all on YouTube, but like for my favorite bands, so I'm a big like power metal fan. So I was discovering like new artists, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to listen to it just on YouTube. I know it's all there. I'm going to wait until I actually own the CD, and then I'll listen to those songs for the first time. And I did that for a while, and then I was dating a girl, and she's like, I have this thing called Spotify. I'm like, Spotify? She's like, yeah, every song that like exists is on here. And I'm like, I'm not going to get that. I'm a physical media guy. And then I was like, wait, that song's on here? That song? All right, I'll get it. And since then, I've stopped buying CDs, and I'm really mad at myself.
It's just the convenience. The reason I still stick to CDs is because like you might get like these studio albums on Spotify, but there are a ton of live albums and live records and singles with B-sides that are never put on Spotify that if we never had them, they would be lost. Someone say metal? Yeah. But yeah, it's just I just wish music, if you're going to make it all accessible, make it all accessible. If you're going to make an artist library accessible, make it all accessible. Like there are Meatloaf records that aren't on Spotify. Like you have Bad Out of Hell 1 and 2, but 3 isn't there. Right. You have live records that are great from Bon Jovi and Paul Williams and some of my favorite country artists, not CeeLo Green. He's not country, but he's good. Trace Adkins, Montgomery. Like there's a lot of good stuff out there that's just not accessible. And even Garth Brooks doesn't want any of his songs on Spotify. So you're losing a lot of stuff if you're just solely focused on that. But then it's the convenience. So I see it. I'm even guilty of that. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just got like fairly recently back into vinyl. So that's been a little bit of a game changer. You know, you're talking with having the liner notes and stuff, you know, the vinyls, that's actually on the packaging, you know, because it's big enough that you can fit most of that on it. So
the vinyl renaissance, it's because, well, it's also because of our lack of liner notes this day and age is why the vinyl stuff is really cool. It's a little too expensive, but it's just it's a very expensive hobby if you want to, because
it's pricey. It definitely is.
Yeah, my goal, I would love to have every single record that I love on vinyl. It's just a lot of stuff is out of print now. It's just crazy how that stuff goes. But I do contend that vinyl does sound better, especially from a record player.
So I found, like, I was actually at one of my wife's friends' weddings, and we were in North Carolina. I found this small little indie shop, and I found a copy of The Bridge, the original pressing on vinyl. I was like, well, there we go, you know.
Wait, The Bridge by Billy, or The Bridge? Okay, wow. With that's an obscure record because the only hit off of that was Matter of Trust.
Yeah, everything. You know, Running on Ice was moderate.
I like the closer, Getting Closer, because it sort of is that like prelude to River of Dreams when he gets a Great Wall of China, where his we're geeking out again. Where his manager betrayed him. Yeah, it's great.
Joey Burrows with a great little Shaun of the Dead reference there.
Yeah.
I was thinking Three Ninjas where they're throwing the CDs at the guy.
Oh yeah, well one of those scenes is more effective than the other. So really,
but So AJ, I know you wanted to bring up a certain hack.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, well, I mean that's a clear, easy segue there.
Great segue.
Wait, first off, Joey Burrows, this is the most true statement of all time. If anybody ever gets a chance to go to that record shop,
Looney Tunes,
that place rules.
I would like to.
It is awesome.
So, I'm going to invoke his name. It's a name that's usually banned from this channel. Usually, if it's mentioned, you have to take a drink. But Chris, what are your thoughts on Chris Nolan?
Oh, Christopher Nolan. Okay, so let me. I have a really, really big hot take here. Now, I'm not great on like movie trivia and stuff, but I will say this: his Batman films, I have a huge hot take on. I feel like Batman Begins is the only good Christopher Nolan Batman movie. Hear me out on this. Okay, I know
we're listening.
Yeah. The Dark Knight, which of course people say is the greatest Batman film of all time.
Batman.
It's not even just that. It's the fact that you can have a good beginning and you can have a good middle, but its final act, and it's the fact that he completely destroys the character of Two-Face and makes him just a side note at the end of the film. And the fact that it just feels like all that momentum that he built just ran straight into the wall. Yeah, just I don't know if everybody agrees with me or not. Okay, You're the first
No.
to agree with me. Okay. I guess I'm not the only one. The Dark Knight just feels like a giant train just goes straight into the wall at the end. There's no.
That is the weakest by far.
And when that happens, like, I'm always of the opinion that if you can't finish strong, you never started strong. And
with the Dark Knight, for me, there's just so many insequential parking lot fights to the plot that are darkly, like, dim lit, poorly.
I'm not the one for dads.
It's
a great Heath Ledger performance, but the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it's a great Heath Ledger performance. I like his interpretation.
Can't argue that.
No, that's great. The problem is that performance is let down by the fact there's not a great payoff at the end, and the fact that one of my favorite villains of all time, Harvey Dent, just gets the complete shaft a second time after Tommy Lee Jones. And I get it, like they wanted to build up Harvey Dent being a martyr. I get that. But I felt like the way they did it and used him as the martyr for a plot for a future film, they didn't give enough time to give us Two-Face. They gave us Two-Face, but they gave us Two-Face Cliff Note version. And it just happened way too quick. There was no, like, cause to feel for this guy. It just... I don't know. Am I making sense? I hope I'm making sense.
No, you...
So you just walked into one of the... I mean, most non-violently, Christopher, most non-violent anti-Chris Nolan streams on YouTube in the movie space. So you're good.
Okay, cool. I guess you guys hate him. I guess you don't like his movies.
That hack hasn't made a good movie since The Prestige.
Okay.
I mean, Interstellar is fine. It's fine. But so when we started the show during the pandemic, and basically the flood of movie news that was just the Tenet release, champion of cinema, and he was going to save cinema by bringing Tenet to theaters because he had a 20% first dollar gross on the movie.
Yeah,
that's what that was. He's not a champion of cinemas. He loves cinema. When he gets 20% of every single dollar, and he's looking at a potential, in his eyes, billion-dollar film. So this entire thing with him leaving Warner Brothers because, they put movies on streaming. That's not why Tenet failed. Tenet didn't go to streaming before it was theatrically released. Part of a pandemic, you fucking putz. So he's doing it again. He's doing it with Universal, and he's doing this with this bullshit 90 to 120 day theatrical exclusive window. So I don't know. I just saw it in the news today, and I just figured I had to say something.
Well, what I really like, I work at a theater. What I really hated was the fact that we had to reopen for Tenet during the pandemic, and I feel like because when you're closed as a theater, like what Regal and AMC did, was you're closed. You're insured being closed due to a crisis like this. After you reopen, all that insurance goes away, and you're in a financial deficit. We reopened for Tenet.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that box office. It wasn't worth it, and everything shut down again. I feel like if he didn't make Tenet get released and make theaters reopen like they did, we might be in a better situation. I hope I'm making sense with that.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel
absolutely.
So I'm like, it's the kettle calling the kettle black, or whatever. It's just, I said that really wrong, but it's, you know what I meant. It's the pot calling the kettle black. It's just, I feel like he's deferring the blame and stuff. It's just, he's a thing.
Yeah.
A mess.
Well, and I just... So, you know the entire thing with the Beatles album, you play it backwards and your Paul's dead? Well, if you watch Tenet backwards, since it's the same movie backwards and forwards, if you watched it backwards, you could actually see Christopher Nolan signify the death of the theatrical experience.
Okay, well, I thought seeing it backwards would actually make sense, because I was fucking lost and I watched it twice. That movie... I watched it once from the projection booth, and then once, and I just couldn't make sense of the movie. I can't tell you what it was about. It just a lot of things, and they went backwards, and he found himself. It's great in that little thing. It's a mess of a movie, and it wasn't worth reopening everything. Chris, what is your Monday schedule like? I would love to have you on our show. Mondays, actually, fun fact. Monday nights I'm now free because Off the Real Network is doing Scary Movie Squad again. So we're going to be doing some scary movies. So hopefully I'll try to make it work, Jesse, if you need something. But yeah.
Speaking of Jesse, like seriously, we haven't said this yet. Congratulations, Jesse. Like seriously,
Yes.
all of us.
Oh yeah, congrats on the wedding. Yeah,
we are a pro Jesse Swift stream here, even if Jacob wouldn't.
Jesse is one of our brothers in crime. Yeah.
Jesse's been
Yeah.
a genuine friend of this show for a long time now. So
He really is.
Oh, and there's that. Oh, there's that. So me and Jesse have a very interesting relationship. We're both gods, and he likes to put an eggplant on his thing. Yeah. Great. Oh wow. Yeah. That's. How did you?
Let's just go stay up there. Okay.
Yeah.
There we
Oh my god. That
Is
was in the group chat. Oh my god. How did you get that? Oh no. Like I said,
To Jesse Swift, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god.
All right.
Congratulations on your nuptials.
Jesse and Lauren,
Jesse.
congratulations.
Good.
Laheim.
Oh wow.
Even though I've been watching a lot of Sopranos, I resisted the urge to say salute.
Hey,
Oh.
you do. So
Jesus
Chris,
Christ.
other
you're good.
like, thing that's all over film Twitter right now, though. Chris, have you seen *Malignant*?
What?
So you're not a scary movie person, but
Well, actually, I'm actually not seen *Malignant* because we're gonna watch it blind for Scary Movie Squad. So I have not seen it yet. No.
so I was going to do a 5-minute-ish non-spoiler review. I'm going to save it.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to go in as blind as I can if I'm allowed to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not see a single piece of marketing for this movie whatsoever. I saw James Wan horror trailer. I think I'm done with them. Saw some Twitter reactions like, well, now I need to watch it. This is my number 2 film of the year.
I'm
Now,
excited. Yeah.
What's number
My
one?
number 1 is Pig.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say
my
yeah.
number
I
2.
can't wait to see that.
My number 2 is *Malignant*. My number 3 is *Space Jam 2. So
Oh well. Okay.
I never seen Space Jam 2.
My balls just dropped. What the fuck did you just say?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Have you
And-
not heard DJ's Space Jam take?
Oh.
it's a cyber dystopian horror movie.
I need more booze.
Okay.
We're,
I mean,
we're not going to go into
if
this
you-
at all.
it's any
Well,
man's
you-
trash is another man's treasure, and if as long as you find the treasure in it, that's great. I think I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with him. I feel like in like a couple years from now, 10 years, 15 years, maybe when Hell Freeze is over, people are going to look back at that and say that's a dystopian horror movie. Yeah, that's fucking awesome, dude.
It's an indictment
Let
of
him
major
be him.
corporations
That's great.
issued by the corporation itself. Somehow, however this movie got made, they were fucking just destroying the Warner Brothers Corporation. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. We're not going to do this again.
Yeah.
I just watched that Transcendence movie, or no, not Transcendence. What is it called? Reminiscence with Hugh Jackman
Oh yeah.
on HBO.
I haven't watched it.
I just watched it. I really liked it. It's basic. It's nobody else really likes it, but I dug it. I thought it was fun.
Read the one?
Reminiscence, not Transcendence. Reminiscence.
Reminiscence. Okay.
Yeah. On
yeah.
HBO Max, Rebecca Ferguson, Hugh Jackman,
It's the
Andy Newton.
that director who's the Westworld lady did that, right?
Yep. Lisa
Who's,
Joy.
yeah, and isn't she like Jonathan Nolan's boo thing of some sort, partner,
Yeah, that I would not know.
something like that? I don't.
Just gonna be
I think I
honest.
remember hearing that somewhere, but I wasn't like 100%. But and there you go.
Kurt.
I caught you in the chat, and yeah, a little bit. but I had a great time with it. I hope you guys do too.
I'm excited to see it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Should I try and see it in the theater, or should I just watch it on HBO?
No, I watched on HBO. I heard from people who watched in the theater that like if you're really sensitive to anything like sound design wise, maybe watch it at home.
My thing with horror movies, and I love this, is that the best way to watch a horror movie or anything like that isn't in a theater. I feel like it should be, it's completely dark in your room. You see stuff in the shadows that you don't think is real but is there. It like if you're watching a film and you're paranoid that something's watching you, it makes it even scarier. I just feel like just being there with your headphones on, watching a thing in the dark of the night, and you see something on your chair and you think that's a human looking at you, is the best feeling and the best atmosphere to have when you're watching something like that.
Have I told my Pet Cemetery story on here?
No.
I might have, but I saw the remake of the Pet Cemetery.
Yeah.
Whenever that was.
Like
and
2 years ago? 2 years ago?
Two or three, 2019.
2018.
Maybe? 18, 19. But anyway, so I saw the movie, and like for whatever reason, it just wasn't what I expected. Like the kids, because the kids turned into zombies. I just wasn't expecting that. Wasn't in like the mental space like prepared for that kind of an ending, and so I don't really get scared at movies, but like it didn't sit well with me. So like I am getting gas on my way home, and like I'm like my card's getting declined, and like little like random stuff like that is happening where it's like for no reason, and so I get home and I'm like, all right, I finally made it. I'm just gonna go to bed, forget this night ever happened. And then I noticed like things have moved around in my apartment.
Nice.
By happen chance, my friend that day decided, he thought that I was going to be home, so he stopped over. And I don't lock my door. I live in like a super safe area. So he came in and he was like, oh, I'm just going to prank him and like move some stuff around. So he like moved like some of my X-Wings are like all in like different spots. So I like get home after seeing this like
that's a big
unsettling, scary movie. It's not like the movie was that scary, but like it's unsettling movie. And like all of a sudden my like B-wing is like there when it shouldn't be there. And I'm like, whoa! So I grab my airsoft gun and I immediately load it, and I'm like sitting like,
well,
finally like get settled down and go to bed with my BB gun underneath my pillow. But
that must have been horrifying. Jesus,
terrible.
Christ.
So good.
I hate that movie.
Did you find out why your card was getting declined? Did somebody steal your credit card?
No, nothing was wrong
Poor
with it.
budgeting.
It was just the air was not right for me.
Oh, okay.
It was just one of those nights. I think the scumbag was in the chat earlier. I don't know where he is now.
So I was like, I think I was 11 or 12. When the Ring first came out, like home release, and we had an HBO like free weekend thing when I was a kid, right? So comes over. Oh, great! I'm frozen.
You're frozen.
You're good now.
You're good now.
So we lived out in the middle of the country in these like old there were old army barracks that were renovated into apartment homes. And they were kind of freaky. We called them the Blair Witch Projects. So I'm watching The Ring for the first time. And it's like, it doesn't really do much for me until I get to the end of the movie. And in this, like I said, just out middle of nowhere kind of country, old wiring, power goes out in the house. Phone line's still up. My mom calls to say that she's done showing houses and she's on her way. I don't have caller ID. The Ring on the end credits of The Ring flashes, screen goes black. I get a phone call. That was like,
oh my god, the timing.
That's how that movie was intended to be seen. by an 11, 12-year-old kid. For sure.
That film, The Ring, I grew up with it. When I first saw it, I was frightened as shit. And as I watch it more and more and more, I realize that
One scene.
the one where she comes out of the TV and kills the guy, that
scene
was
is
horrifying.
genuinely terrifying, but the rest of the movie is shit.
Yeah, the thing is what I'm realizing is that it's just taking advantage of jump scares and eerie pictures and stuff, and it feels very artificial.
Yeah.
But back when you're watching that as a kid and you're seeing these old VHSs of this well flickering, and then, she isn't really dead, and you have to go back to the well with that anticlimactic ending, which is a mess. You feel like it's ending, and then it doesn't end, and there's like another 30 minutes. You know what I'm talking about when they go back to the well to find the body. It's still... It's bad, but there's still a magic to it. It's hard to explain.
That in particular.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the Japanese version?
I've never seen the Japanese one.
It's even more unsettling than the American version.
Okay.
But also, it's kind of goofy.
Is it? Cool.
It's a little...
Scene, that's all I'm talking about, is that particular scene.
Yeah.
Like Ringo and then the original Grudge were both like... People just hyped them up for how much scarier they were than the original ones. And I'm watching the subtitles, I'm like... This is fucking hilarious.
Is The Grudge the film where it's one of the scariest things I remember, is where the woman opens up the closet and the thing is up in the corner? Yes. That's freaking creepy. I remember having nightmares about that. But other than that, I don't remember too much of Grudge. I haven't watched that recently.
I thought it was Sylvester Stallone versus Robert De Niro. That was also frightening.
That was terrifying in a different way.
Were they like naked?
That was a grudge match.
Oh, okay. I said that so awkwardly. I'm sorry.
So you said that perfectly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just bravo.
That's great.
Whoops.
Good Lord.
Just the timing was beautiful. Oh, thank you.
What's your favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie is Sleepy Hollow. Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. You haven't seen it? It's
I haven't seen it.
It's a Hammer horror kind of motif set in the 1700s. A lot of Harry Potter actors are in it. It's very, very moody. I love Tim Burton's direction. Another one that I really like.
That Johnny Depp, he did Harry Potter, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he did. I haven't seen the two recent ones.
Neither have I.
Yeah,
I saw the first one in theater.
I would say Sleepy Hollow is my favorite horror movie. I really like the Darkness Falls with the Evil Tooth Fairy is also. Even though it's not a perfect horror film, I just like the atmosphere, because that beginning portion where the mother gets killed in the darkness really scared me as a kid. You never want that to happen to your mother, A. But B, just I like a lot of when it's like eerie lore surrounding like the Salem witch trials and the fact that she was she killed these children, and it's just I like that kind of lore. And if you want to, I actually, it's not a horror film but a game. A great one is Until Dawn, where you're basically living a horror film, and it's with Wendigos and stuff. It's fucking batshit. It's great.
Nice.
So
nice.
Sleepy Hollow.
I'm a little bit of a weirdo too. Like, my favorite horror movie is not really even a horror movie. It's Evil Dead 2, I think, and that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Period.
Mm-hmm.
That is like the Bruce Campbell tour de force. His performance in that movie is maybe my favorite movie performance of all time. So it's so out of control, and I loved every minute of that movie.
So Juice, let's take this around. Let's what do you got for a favorite horror movie?
What? Yeah. So there was one I want to highlight real quick as I look up my top 5 when I got tagged in that random horror tweet of like, what's your top 5 horror movies? And I tagged all of you. But I want to highlight a movie that I don't remember to talk about enough that I watched in like 2014. It's called The Hunt. It's more on the crime thriller than is the horror. But it's got Mads Mikkelsen. Think it's Swedish movie. It's like not American. It's not a.
Yeah, it's not the Hunt that we saw in 2020.
No, not that one. Not that one.
That was very different.
But that movie is like, it was 3 hours long, had subtitles, and yet I was captivated for like, and I think I watched it on my phone too. So like, I'm like just
everything working like, against you.
Right. And it still like captivated me like enough to like, I'm so invested in what's going on. And it's been so long. I own it on DVD, but I have not rewatched it. So I definitely need to do that. But just for like a movie that, because like you love the underdog and you got a guy that's getting wrongfully accused of, I don't even remember, but like, yeah, he's getting accused of like wrongfully like sexually assault charge type of a thing. And it's just like he's innocent, but like nobody else does. And you're just like, oh, it's like so painful to watch, but it's like so good and riveting. But my actual favorite horror, I don't remember.
So for me, I've got probably the most basic answer, but for this thing that's coming up, I was asked to do a top 20 favorite horror movies, and doing my list every time I'd go around and rearrange things, it's Scream.
Oh.
Scream is
the first Scream
so
is a fantastic movie. It really is.
I love all 4, but the first one is my favorite horror movie of all time. I mean, it does those comedy bits. It does the subject. It kind of subversive kind of thing. It's just so great. I've fallen asleep watching it like 3 nights out of the past 2 weeks.
I just watched Scream 2 and I didn't like it.
Scream 2 takes some
at all.
Is not that good. I've only seen the first one.
So
4 is really good.
Really good.
3 is the worst. I would say it goes 1, 2, 4, 3.
I'd say the same. I mean, Scream 3 has some fun things in it.
It's not that good. It really isn't.
But Jay and Silent Bob, though.
But yeah, but that's for what, 20 seconds? The first Scream, though, like it's a parody that is an actual horror movie, which they did that really well.
So I have I'm gonna give my Scream 2022, because they're not even calling it Scream 5 theory. Right. It's going to be a modern indictment on the modern horror movies and the modern trend of we're just going to make the first movie or maybe the first 2 movies canon and then ignore all the sequels and do a reboot thing. I think that we start Scream 5 and Randy's alive. Just so good. So
okay,
yeah,
that's a way to approach it.
What I would like to quick highlight is not because of myself, though it resulted because of myself. So when I first initially made my 5 horror films, 5 tags, no particular order, I did Get Out, Midsommar, The Shining, Raw, and Green Room. Brother Lomas replied to me like 3 weeks later. No, it was like the same day. And he said, Brother Juice, I would typically guide you myself when I hear such madness, but it's Gucci's chest waxing week, and he needs me available for emotional support 24/7. So it's time to schedule an appointment with the exchange's staff psychiatrist, Dr. Dirty Bird. He's got openings on Tuesday.
So did you schedule an appointment or?
So, I will say
tried. He's fully booked.
Anybody who's watching tonight, and if by some chance you did not see last week's stream with the Brother Lomas,
Whatever.
go back and watch that.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think I have felt so out of breath from laughing, maybe in my entire life. That is the greatest interview anybody can ever have. If you are a fellow podcaster and or YouTube channel or whatever, and you have the opportunity to bring that man on your show, you do that immediately because that is the greatest interview you will ever have in your life.
The fuck, Mike?
He took you to
We
church.
have a guest on screen
I know
now.
Oh,
You know,
he took you to church, and he praised the Lord, brother. Yeah.
like
Never did get that right to church.
and I'm saying this to Chris, like, Chris, you and Lomas need to have a show together. That would be absolutely amazing.
Just bring him up. Bring him up, and we'll read the New Testament. That'd be great. That'd be great. That'll be the last 5 hours of the show. That'd be awesome.
The Book of Gucci.
The Book of Gucci.
If you have any kind of show whatsoever, print, audio, video, whatever, contact Brother Lomas because you will not regret this.
Oh, it's all good.
I genuinely do want to see Chris, you and Lomas interacting for an hour.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'm
I
signing.
never met him. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah,
He'll do it. Like I'm pretty certain he'll do it. Now, Brother Lomas has, we're working on our 1 year stream. It's coming soon. Brother Lomas has said he will bless us with his presence for that. So,
Yeah.
Praise the brother.
all praise Brother Lomas.
Hey, brothers and sisters, he has the power. Get down on your knees and preach. He got it.
So, Chris,
What?
going back to where we're going with the horror movies and stuff, like, when it comes down to it, like, what would you say your favorite movie was, and why is it Blood Rain with Meatloaf?
That is the fucking worst thing he's ever done. That thing, when you see him fucking like that, and it looks like he's in the fucking music video for "I Do Anything for Love." It's so horrible. The fact that it was what Blood Rain, that was terrible. Piece of shit. No, you asking me my favorite movie is? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that's what you were asking or not. But no, my favorite movie is King Kong. The original King Kong from 1933.
Answer, actually.
Actually, yeah, it's right there. The original King Kong, 1933, is my favorite film of all time. My favorite movie of all time is, get this, King Kong 2005.
Okay.
I feel like there's a reason why. Have you guys ever? I don't know if I've ever told you guys if you guys heard this story or not, or in passing, because I've told it on the rundown before. I told it on PJCN, off the rails now. It's the fact that in December of 2005, my dad got me tickets with him to see the premiere of Kong in New York City. We were from 2002. Since 2003, we were watching Peter Jackson's daily. He would take me to work after school, and we would watch each day Peter Jackson's daily diary of the Kong on his King Kong website. We would watch it, and we were so hyped for it. He started having heart problems November 30th, and when the premiere for Kong came, he couldn't make it because he was on a ventilator. So he gave me, so his ticket went to my cousin, and we went to see Kong. This was December 15th, 2005, the first day it was released. He passed away December 17th.
Oh, man.
Kong 05 on that level, and just the build up to that movie, no matter if that movie was good or bad, was always going to be special to me. The fact of the matter is that movie is a perfect movie from start to finish. People complain that it's too long. I feel like the hour and a half before you see Kong is great build up with the storytelling on the boat. I think it's the greatest remake of all time. Kong 2005 is an absolute masterpiece, and I love it. But I will always, as my favorite film of all time, will always be Kong 33, because that my 5th birthday, Dad got that for me on VHS, and I was glued to the screen with it. So, and he knew that, and that's why we were so pumped for Kong 05, and then bada boom happened. But that's why this got really deep for a second. But that's why I love King Kong 33 and 2005. I hope that answered your question, Mike. That got really deep for a second. Sorry.
So no, I could say, like, Kong 33. Obviously, that's one of the movies that, like, I think everybody in there needs to see in their lifetime at some point or another. Like, I saw that on VHS.
With the roaring VHS, right?
Yeah.
Where you would press it and he would roar. It was because that was 1993. That was the 60th anniversary of Kong at that point, the 60th birthday of the 8th wonder of the world, and there was this like giant float of Kong on top of the Empire State Building. Was massive back then. It is problematic with the interpretation of natives and stuff. And it's a product of its time. That happens. Yeah. Outside of that, it's a movie that without Kong, you don't have Star Wars. Without Kong, you don't have your favorite horror films. You don't have the special effects. You don't have score. It's the first movie that had Max Steiner did the score for Kong. It's the first movie with an actual score timed to the beats on film. Perfected in Citizen Kane, but originated in Kong. A lot of what Kong is and started, especially with special effects. You talk to anybody in the field, their favorite movie, that movie was inspired by Kong, and it's a domino effect. So it's one of, if not the most influential film of all time. But most people say Star Wars is, but Star Wars was influenced by Kong. So
it was. I mean,
there was nothing like King Kong before King Kong. Kong was a total game changer in terms of everything when it came to movie making, and even to this day, that the original movie, it's in black and white, and it looks quote unquote primitive, but that's one of the most captivating films you're ever gonna watch.
Yeah, and it got away with a lot of stuff, especially in 1933. You have him putting people in his mouth. You have him de-dressing Ann Darrow, which I couldn't imagine how provocative that was back in the day.
Right.
But it's just that movie. It's not a perfect film. There's a lot of flaws with it, as I said, the problematic stuff that didn't age well. But what did age well, you can't argue, is probably what defined movie magic.
King Kong himself, like the character King Kong, is a marvel in cinematic history. Like, and to this day,
he's in Marvel too.
I would love that.
They're still making movies about him to this day.
And I think from that MonsterVerse, the 2 films he was in, especially Skull Island, are probably the 2.
Great.
I think Skull Island's the best MonsterVerse, not because I love Kong, just because it had the right balance between character development with humans and Kong himself. And then you look at
100% agree with that.
And with Kong vs. Godzilla, Kong was the person sympathetic. He's the one who had the most emotion.
Yep.
And what I loved about that universe is that he's colored brown, because the brown of the it's the same color as the brown rabbit fur they used for the stop motion puppet in 1933. In 1933, he's not black; he's brown. It was rabbit fur, and they modeled Kong in those films after that puppet. So I've always appreciated that. So cool. Well, you know.
Well, and like I don't know, like with the upcoming MonsterVerse stuff. I mean, I love the like after watching Godzilla vs Kong, like I cannot wait to see what Adam Wingard does with this, because like he put in that kind of Toei style camp to the film. So I mean, what happens next is always a big thing. I think I just heard something crash. I
hope it's okay.
Yeah, but no, like not knowing your personal story aside, but when you mentioned the 2005 Kong, I was like, I need to go back and rewatch that movie. I remember it being
if you don't like it, you think it's too long? Is that what you thought?
No. I just I only ever find myself rewatching it every couple of years, but it's like every time I do, it's just like, oh yeah, I forgot about it. That movie is beautiful. And,
taking my lens off, I saw it. Yeah, that movie is very self-indulgent. It really is. It's Peter's love letter to Kong 33, and if you're not a huge fan of the film like I am, the 33 version, you're gonna watch that film and feel like, why couldn't this have been cut down more? I get that. But when you see the love that he had and what a remake should be, and expanding upon your love for a film and remaking it the way you want it to, that's where it succeeded. But yeah, if you have problems with the length, or you feel like maybe Jack Black was miscast, I could see that.
No,
but, yeah, I loved it. Yeah,
movie completely scarred me.
Yeah, with the spiders.
No. I'm going to be very carefully how I word this.
Go for it.
But basically, with the natives, not just
no, that scene is so scary. Yeah, because they behead somebody.
Yeah, because all of a sudden it was like you turn around, there's just like this kid, like. So it in my head, there's just like scary kid, like I'm gonna murder all of you.
Yeah.
So there's only two movies that have ever scarred me in my entire life, and that was Pet Sematary and that was King Kong 2005. Both those movies got brought up in this stream, and I don't appreciate it. No other movies. Nice. If I had a problem with,
Jeez, watch Malignant.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. Yeah.
I'm gonna see it in theater. I'm gonna try to.
Yeah, I can't wait to experience it. It's I've heard good things.
My experience. The other thing I'll tell you about my experience with my first watch of *Malignant* was that it was a Ben Goddard watch along.
Oh,
and what was going on with the chat and his reactions? That might be the definitive way to watch this movie.
Okay, yes. I like it.
So,
well, with that in mind, so this has been awesome episode. Chris, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, good.
And so for everyone who wasn't here at the beginning of the stream, let's talk about the Mint one more time. Fill everyone in, whatever you'd like to say now, everyone, if you missed it, turn into the beginning of the stream so you can hear Chris do a full breakdown. But tell us about that show at the Mint on the 5th of December.
So, guys, on the 5th of December, the night after Schmoedown Spectacular, if you're in the area, in the Los Angeles area, we are going to be at the Mint doing a spectacular, pun intended, concert with basically the Schmoedown Music Mafia, which is Alex Marzonia, David B. Music, and his band, The Fates Stay, Ben Bateman, Breanne Chandler, and my band, Wonderful Crazy Night, celebrating the music of Billy Joel, Elton John, and Meatloaf. Lots of special guests, emceed by the great movie guys, Adam Witt and Paul Preston. It's $50 a ticket. You can get a special $80 ticket with an actual physical CD that you're going to get there with exclusive tracks recorded by Breanne, my band, David B., Ben, Alex, and did I forget somebody? No, I think I got them all. Yeah, The Fates Stay. It's an exclusive CD that comes with that. You guys are all going to be getting a laminated set list with everything too. It's a brochure. It's going to be cool. So you'll be able to follow the show and the times and everything. It's from 7 p.m. to midnight. It's 5 hours of amazing music. And I feel like the price is right. Hopefully you guys come and rock with us if you want. If you can't make it, it's going to be streamed. It's going to be streamed. We're going to be setting up a live stream and ticketing on that as well, which will only be like $10 or 15, whatever it is. But if you miss it, you miss it. I mean, if you miss it, you'll be able to watch. And then also, it's being mixed and multi-tracked, so there will be official releases after the fact as well. So, it's going to be shot by Dwayne and Cameron Rice and Joe Moda, and it's going to be great. There's a whole production around it, so it's going to be fun.
Nice. So for ticket info, other than your Twitter handle that's on screen now, Chris Clark's 8788. Where else should people find that?
The ticket information I've tweeted out. It's a pinned tweet on my Twitter at ChrisClug8788. It's on Eventbrite. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. I'm bringing it up on my thing. And bada boom. If you guys want to go to it, how do I do this?
I think it's on my Facebook too. If you,
I'm not.
I got the Eventbrite. If you're Facebook friends with me, and the first thing right now on my profile is my picture. Yeah.
Justin the Juice is going to be doing 2 songs. It's going to be fun. We're going to be going through that at Soundcheck too, which is going to be crazy. So,
all right. And then I will be adding that link to the description of the video. So post stream, if you're coming back, if you're watching this on replay right now, you should be able to catch that link in the description of the video for this show at the Mint on December 5th. Wow. So, all right, guys. So, other than that, Chris, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at ChrisClark8788. Those numbers mean nothing. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Twitch, we do Mario parties and stuff. I haven't done it recently because of work, but I do Mario parties with everybody in the Schmidon community, from William Bibiani to Ben Goddard. I've had Drew on and Eric and just JT and April, everybody. It's just great to do Mario Party. And you guys, if you want to ever do Mario Party, let me know. It's fun. It's easy to set up as long as you have a controller. So
if you're ever hitting up the links for Mario Golf Super Rush, just say it.
Oh, okay. You have a Switch, AJ? We're going to talk. Yeah, okay.
All right. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, that's it. Bada boom, bada bing. Right. Keep rocking.
Nice. All right. And so, Justin, where can people find you besides at the Mint on December 5th?
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. But anyways, you can find me here at What the Show, doing all the sorts of things I'd like to. So you can find me if you're part of the American or the European team of the Ryder Cup. You can find me at the Horse and Plow, part of the American Club. You're one of the only people that can find me there because the place is completely locked down. I am bartending the very exclusive area where the golfers will get to. Where the golfers are staying. So nobody else will be able to find me. But if you just so happen to be a European or Ryder Cup golf player, you'll be able to find me there. Otherwise,
wait, is this real?
That's 1,000%.
This is legit.
1,000%.
It's just real.
Like okay, I'm BSing about the Germans. I'm BSing about the StreamYards. That is 1,000%.
That's awesome, dude.
Nice.
So next Wednesday, so like they sat us all down. They're like, you can't talk about celebrities or anyone that you're gonna meet. I'm gonna be broadcasting it from the stream next week.
So next week
it'll be great.
On some of the golfers.
We'll have Justin Timberlake and the other like pro golfers that are there. No, we'll see. No, we'll figure it out.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah, my hotel I work out is the host of the Ryder Cup this year.
So, Mike, where can people find you?
Here on Wednesday nights, obviously, and as always, you can find me most Sunday nights at Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando. So if you're going there, you can hit me up. And then maybe in 2 weeks, you might find me with this guy and this guy at Halloween Horror Nights, and maybe some other people. But so we're here about the show every Wednesday night, depending on the guest. The times vary, but we're always here on Wednesday nights, and we got our 1-year anniversary stream coming up very soon, so that's gonna be wild.
All right, guys. Well, for Justin the Juice, for Mike Deacon, for Chris Clark, I'm AJ Lancaster. Follow me at Twitter at Lancaster_AJ. This has been What the Show. Good night. Malik